And the album that we have to review this time is another Motorhead record. It's called Another Perfect Day. And I forgot to fucking write this dude's YouTube handle down. This was suggested by one of our YouTube subscribers. Mm-hmm. I forgot to write his fucking name down. In the video, I'll give him credit.
There you go.
This is Motorhead's sixth studio album. Mm-hmm. It was released in May of 1983. I didn't get an exact date. And this is the last record that they made on Bronze Records. And it peaks at number 153 on the U.S. charts for Billboard. Uh-huh. And our cast of characters. We have the late, great Filthy Animal Taylor on drums. Mm-hmm. We have Brian Robertson on guitar. Now, Brian Robertson was one of the founding members of Thin Lizzy.
Correct.
And he stepped into the guitar spot mid-tour when Eddie Clark left the band.
Why did he leave mid-tour?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know why Fast Eddie left, but he later formed Fastway.
Yes.
So Brian Robertson steps in. Robbo steps in. And Robbo is a completely different style of guitar player than Fast Eddie or Wurzel or Wizzo or Phil Campbell.
Correct.
And this record bears that out. And of course, our master of ceremonies, our leader, our fucking god, Ian Fraser Kilmister on bass and vocals.
Yeah, Motorhead was listening to that list of rock bands. Motorhead wasn't on that list.
Well, that's because they're not from America.
American bands.
Rock bands, American rock bands.
Yeah, they're from England.
Are they?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Sorry. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, the logo says Motorhead, England.
I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
I know they are Motorhead and they play rock and roll.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was just American.
I said
American. I know he must have said I block your shit out sometimes.
I do too. I don't like me much either. Anyway, it starts off with a ditty called Back at the Funny Farm. What do you got, Bill?
It's a great song to start an album. This is an album I have not ever listened to before. So all these songs were brand new to me. God, I love this as an opener.
Yes. And it starts with that traditional Motorhead, like Lemmy's traditional growling bass.
Yeah, and his voice throughout this entire album was, I think, perfect.
Yeah, oh yeah. And boys and girls, there's only one way to get Motorhead's bass sound. You need a Rickenbacker and a fucking Marshall. Lemmy played through a customized Marshall guitar head called Murder One. Mm-hmm. Marshall put out a Lemmy Kilmister signature amp at one point. I would love to get my hands on one, but I don't want to pay for one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's like the Ricken Bastard. Mm-hmm. Lemmy's custom made. It's the actual number designation is the Rickenbacker 4004 LK.
Oh.
The last time I saw one available on Reverb, $11,000.
Jesus Christ.
There was only 50 of them made.
Oh, really?
Yes. There were 50 of them made. I would love to get my hands on one. Even if I couldn't own it, I would just love to play one.
Play with it, yeah.
Just play one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is you got the traditional Lemmy growl in that bass of his that just never gets old.
That's what I have here. I said, this is Motorhead.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And the freaking guitar solo in this song.
Holy
shit.
We'll get to the guitar playing. Song 2 is called Shine.
Yep, another good song.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect on the album.
I did not like this song.
I love that intro riff.
This had like a... It didn't sound like a Motorhead song.
And the intro does not sound like Motorhead.
It almost sounded like something like out of the early 70s. And like every time I heard him sing like Shine, he was actually trying to sing it like really nice instead of doing that Lemmy growl. I'm going to make you shine.
Musically, doesn't it sound a bit like a fucking Thin Lizzy record?
Yes, it does.
Every song on here, Robbo co-wrote. All right, number 3, Dancing on Your Grave.
I love the opening guitar in this.
Absolutely.
That was it's another fabulous.
And it really fucking it's a neck breaker, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The intro, the guitar intro is too nice for this song. Because then it kicks in.
Yeah.
And it becomes a Motorhead song.
It got such a I put it here, a fucking groovy, catchy riff.
Yep. Lemmy wrote great rock and roll riffs. And this whole album is just grooving, driving rock and roll. No more evident than the next song, Rocket.
Yeah.
This song is pure fucking rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear a piano in a Motorhead song?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
And it's weird. As much as I liked every song on this album, and this is like, for me on the album was at like the low point, which was still a high point.
Yeah.
Every song, and it was. I thought this was like my low point of the album. I liked every song better than this one, but I still like this one.
Yeah, me too.
I like this one, yes.
Track number 5, then the last track on side 1. Mm-hmm. One Track Mind.
God, this was catchy.
Dude, my notes on this. Here, Jim. So I'm not bullshitting when I say this. The song has a great groove, and it's a great song to bang to.
Yeah, it is. That's what I mean. It has a catchy.
It's the 2s and the 4s, man. It's the 2s and the 4s.
I didn't like this one.
I fucking love this song.
This song kind of slunk into my brain, which was weird. Because I started listening, I was like, okay, this is a typical Motorhead song.
Right.
But as it kept going on, I'm like, this is really fucking catchy. I like this.
Yeah. Oh. It's a fucking great song. I mean, I'm with you. There's not a dog on this record.
There isn't.
There's not a dog on this record. We need to do a Motorhead deep dive. Really do.
That's a 2-parter.
Yeah, we'll break that up.
Yeah, we'll do that eventually. Side 2 starts with the title track, Another Perfect Day.
All right. Now, I know you're not familiar with the band Bad News, because I haven't...
Yeah, I know who they are.
Right. This is not a bad thing. It sounds like a cleaned up version of Bad News.
Yes.
Like if Bad News actually practiced their instruments.
Right.
Oh, God.
Well, I don't think Jim knows who Bad News is.
No.
Yeah, Bad News was a fake band by a lot of the guys in the Young Ones.
Uh-huh.
That was done like a year before Spinal Tap came out. And it's basically Adrian Edmondson, Rick Mile, Nigel Planner, and the guy, I don't know who plays Spider, but it was like all these trials and tribulations, but they can't play worth a shit, but they have the heart. And this felt like if the guys in Bad News actually could play their instruments, this is the song they would make.
It's like Anvil.
Bad News is even better than Anvil, and that's the weird part.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I'll have to loan you the Bad News stuff I have.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Robbo's influence is all over this record.
Absolutely.
And it's not a bad thing. I mean, because I'm a Thin Lizzy fan. Next, Marching Off to War. Motorhead writes great
Oh, yeah.
military theme songs.
Yes, and this was no exception.
Right.
None whatsoever. Is it another great one.
And this, go ahead, Jim.
I just thought this was you can tell it was a Motorhead song.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was mediocre compared to other stuff.
Yeah, okay. This is one where you can really tell how fucking rock solid Phil Taylor was as a drummer, though.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Taylor was a fucking machine. And, as much as I love Mickey D, Phil Taylor was a fucking great drummer. Lemmy never had bad musicians in his band. You know, and you know, believe it or not, it was an upgrade from Phil Taylor when Mickey D joined the band because Phil's a fucking machine, but Mickey D is next level good. All right, track number 8. I Got Mine.
This is another one of those, like you're gonna say, Thin Lizzy sounding songs.
Yeah.
It almost sounded poppy to me.
My notes on this. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I love the guitar work in this.
Yeah,
It was wonderful.
my notes. I love Robbo's cleaner guitar tones. He's such a great player. You know, Brian Robertson is such a fucking great player. And if you go back to his stuff with Thin Lizzy's twin guitars, okay? That's where Metallica got a lot of their influence. Bands like Priest and Thin Lizzy. You know, with the dual guitars. Even Maiden, because Thin Lizzy was around before Maiden. They got a lot of their influence with the 2 guitar stuff from Thin Lizzy. And Brian Robertson's fucking fingerprints are all over this record. Number 9 is a very typical Motorhead song called Tales of Glory.
Yep, that's just typical, like Motorhead all the way.
That's exactly what I
It
have down.
was perfect.
Yes.
It's just what I expect from Motorhead.
Yeah.
And this just probably would have been something you would want to hear live.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Next is another, like, prototypical Motorhead song. Die You Bastard.
This is my favorite song on the album. The way that fucking bass just starts in the beginning. Dear Lord.
Lemmy punishes his bass.
Honest to God.
Lemmy punishes his bass. And he is a criminally underrated bass player. He is, we talked about this on the 1916 review, how good Lemmy actually is, or actually was. Lemmy was a fucking great bass player.
Now my notes are good, and then I ineligible after that. I must have been excited when I wrote it. I'm not sure.
Excited.
I don't know. It's something that I hoped it, and I don't know. But again, when you have a style like Die You Bastard's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the final track on the record is called Turn You Round Again.
Yeah, that one have great finish.
Oh, yeah, absolute banger.
I will agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's like why this album was not bigger. Why it took me this long to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm a Motorhead fan because I like a lot of their stuff. You know, between Orgasmatron, Ace of Spades, 1916. You know,
Overnight Sensation.
Yeah, all that. And this album I've never heard before.
Bomber.
And dear God, I am so happy I got to hear this one.
Something on the Wikipedia page had a quote from, I guess there was a autobiography of Lemmy or
Yeah, it's
Motorhead.
called White Line Fever.
But he says in there he hated recording this album because Robbo would take like 17 hours to lay down a fucking guitar track.
Well, Brian Robertson was a fucking perfection.
And he said, he goes, and everybody fucking hated the sound.
But I tell you, it shows on the album because it is just flawless.
Yeah, it's a great record. And the production is different than a lot of Motorhead stuff. But it's still a Motorhead record.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of his and then of course Lemmy's later albums. I mean, his voice gets more guttural, the more further albums into the career.
Yeah,
And that's why I say this seems like almost one of the cleanest Motorhead vocal sounds he had.
Well, I mean, a steady diet of Speed,
Yeah.
Jack Daniels, and Marlboro Reds will fucking do that.
Yeah, but I know that like the I mean, but again, Ace of Spades wasn't too far off from 1916.
No.
But it was like a very, I said,
Yes.
very weirdly clean, dirty vocals, which is great.
Right. I mean, Robbo added a totally different dimension to the band. It was a different style of guitar playing than we were used to with Motorhead up till then. Like, there's some like really cool, clean interludes in this that we didn't get with Motorhead. He was more musical than Eddie Clarke, and he approached the guitar way differently than Eddie Clarke. In a lot of ways, Eddie fit with Motorhead better than Robbo did, and even more so, Phil Campbell fit with Motorhead better than anybody else, than any other guitar player. And Phil was with him longer than any other guitar player. But this album is fucking great in its own right. Phil Taylor, Filthy Animal, an amazing fucking drummer. And Lemmy's Lemmy. What more do you need to say?
Yes.
You know, our God and Savior, Lemmy Kilmister. What do you rate the album, Bill?
Okay, this one was a hard one for me because I'm going to say 8.5 only because it's hard to rank this above like March or Die 1916.
Gotcha.
And so many that I've heard before this, but it's like right on the cusp before them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, 8.5. What do you say, Jim?
I'm going with a 7.
Okay.
It didn't, like I said, there were some songs in there I couldn't get into, but
Yeah.
It's one I'd listen to again. I listened to it multiple times.
Yeah. I loved every track on this record. I thought it was fucking fantastic. I'm actually going higher than you guys. I'm going 9.
Oh boy.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Oh my.
This has kind of jumped into the pantheon of Motorhead albums
Yeah.
for me. It's really good. And I think a lot of the reason I like it so much is the different vibe that Brian Robertson brought to the band. I really loved it. I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah, the only reason I couldn't put it in because there's so many others above it is like they all can't be 9s. There has to be a hierarchy.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.